Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we are gonna make sure we're recording before we start. That would be the smart thing to do. Whoops. Test. Test.
Are you aware of this being up front?
What is that?
I don't know. It was up front, so
I forgot.
Maybe both took it in. I'm gonna put it where it belongs.
Is it in someplace scary?
Yeah, it's the biggest scares on Broadway. Seriously haunted, seriously scary.
Interesting.
Blood Manor.
Alright, so today we're going to be fixing a dead MacBook. Here we have a MacBook Air that's not turning on. May have some liquid damage. Let's open it up and see what's wrong with it. So here we have the MacBook. Here we have the screwdriver. This drives the screw. It screws you. I'm going to call this my genius. So we're going to take a magnet and use my genius to open the machine. Thank you, Blender. Someone says no notification today. Yes, the YouTube algorithm is on its downturn. So, Eli, the computer guy, often talks about the algorithm and this and that and the other, what it wants, what it looks for, how it's the AI not knowing what the AI wants, or people at YouTube not knowing what it wants does mess with people. And YouTube does do this thing on a regular basis that I don't think Eli is exactly aware of it. I'm not exactly aware of it because I honestly have no idea how the fuck this platform works. Very similar to most of the people that work at it. But you'll have these you'll have these big booms where, let's say I'll do a video entitled IT Specialist Can Suck My Dick. And then two years after I make the video, it'll wind up in a bunch of people's suggested feeds. So I'll see that, oh, look, this video got an additional 50 or 100,000 views today. That's really strange. I did it 2 years ago. I'll look at analytics, and it'll say that all the views did not come from an external website where somebody pointed to it. It all came from, it will say that it came from the suggested feed or YouTube suggestions, which means YouTube just decided randomly to take my video. Which is funny because this happened a few days after I spoke to my channel rep who was telling me about the new demonetization policies at the time and advertiser friendliness. It was just hysterical. So I asked, I wound up calling them back and saying, why is this video the thing that you're suggesting of all the content I do? Not PP Bus G3 hot shorted to ground through this, but IT specialist can suck my dick in the title. Which that was interesting. But let me just get to the point here. So there'll be really large booms for no good reason that come out of the blue without the video being promoted by the news or Reddit or another website. And then there'll be downturns where your stuff gets just doesn't go anywhere. So take for instance today. So there's a video that I did today, and I think it's pretty relevant since a lot of people are upgrading to the new version of OS 10 and it's not working. So Mac OS 10 Catalina update is bricking machines. Here's a fix. So I mean, this video right here should be pretty much like, this is the topic of the channel. I do discuss Apple products. This is something that is somewhat trending in news, that Catalina is breaking a lot of people's machines, and I posted what I believe to be a relevant fix to it. And it has 7,000 views. So if you're telling me that you're not getting notifications from my content, imagine that. And this is one of the things that I think is really important to understand. Do not try to do YouTube as a living. If you have a hobby and you enjoy your hobby and you want to film yourself doing your hobby, go for it. I'm not saying that making videos is not work, nor am I saying that there is not real work that goes into it. I've always found it interesting when people say that, what you're doing is not real work, because I'm literally filming my job. This is a job. I built a company around what I do that pays rent and employees. This is a job. I'm simply filming my job. So it's interesting when somebody says that that it's no longer real work because I put it to YouTube. But my point here that I don't want to get too far from is you should never trust YouTube as a platform, because it will screw with you. You're being managed by an AI. The people who work for the company either A, will not disclose how the AI works, or B, they themselves have no idea how it works. So don't try to do this don't try to do this expecting regular income, or even expecting somebody to speak to so you can figure out what it is you're doing right or wrong, because you'll never have any idea. And I think that's part of what has driven Eli nuts over the years, rightfully so, is not having any idea how the platform that he invested in as his, somewhat as a career path, how any of it works. I give up. I have no fucking clue. So if you didn't get a notification, you can check me out on Vimeo. If you go to vimeo.com/Rossman Group, that's a website where I actually understand how it works. We do stream on Vimeo. I upload my videos to Vimeo, and it's in better quality. And by the way, if you check me out on Vimeo, there's no ads. 0 ads. Not only is it better bitrate, because Vimeo encodes the videos a bit better than YouTube does, 0 ads. Just saying. All right. That being said, we're going to go back to fixing this MacBook. I need to steal some magnets from the people up there. How did walkthroughs go today? Walkthroughs are tomorrow. Okay, so what we're going to do here is the same that we do with every MacBook. First thing we're going to do is unplug the battery, because I don't want to see how much power the battery is drawing. I want to see how much power the board itself is drawing. The board charges the battery, and the battery draws a different amount of amperage depending on how much is charged. So if the battery is 98% charged, it's not going to draw as much amperage as it would if it was 8% charged and I plugged it in. That's going to screw with my reading. And this is, for me, a scientific reading. I want to know what part of the boot sequence the board is in, or what it's trying to do, and I'm going to know that by how much power it's trying to draw. So let's take a look, and the way I do that is by plugging it into a power supply that's going to tell me how many amps it's taking. So I have a MagSafe, but I've plugged it into a power supply, and that power supply is going to tell me how much power it's taking if I click this little button and plug it in. So let's see what this one does. This one already turns on. Really? Well then, how many drones are working at the moment? Also, did Paul end up stealing the signal staying drone? On a side note, I never got to ask, did you receive the greenies? Yes, thank you very much, Keith. I think Erica sent a thank you note for those yesterday. In terms of the drones, I have 2. I have the shitty little one and the other big one. The other big one, the DJI Tello, Oreo fucked up the last propeller on it. He attacked it. I'm glad that he's getting some courage, some strength. And the thing with that drone is the controller I got. So it's stuck to where when it's normal, it thinks the joystick is down. So it thinks the joystick is down even when it's normal, so it keeps descending, so that $50 joystick I got with it is kind of useless. But I'm not going to be able to reuse it until I get the new propellers in. Anyway, this machine appears to be turning on and working, so I'm not quite sure why it's here. Boots up and randomly freezes. You know what? I think this is a great board for Paul. Because for some reason in the ticket it said no power, but here it says randomly freezes. And I think there's no better place for a MacBook that randomly freezes than right there. Right there.
Could I please have you
Yes.
stare into this charge port under the microscope?
Will I see something funny? Let's see.
Just look into... Not a charge port, headphone jack, sorry. Yeah, keep going, keep going. What's that? Is that a screw?
Are you serious? What the fuck is this? Why?
It's
How?
brought in and he goes, this
What
is
the
either really easy or really difficult. But
The fuck?
one day there was a screw in his...
One day.
Yeah.
Just for, like, you thought that was a headphone.
So, what do I do here? Is this a jack replacement?
Yeah, I imagine. Unscrew it.
Unscrew
Yeah, unscrew it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So what size screw does he got here?
I think this is at least a double knot.
All right. I think I'm the only screwdriver that's going to fit in there was one of those Weeha 000s.
Yeah. Do you have the triple knot here?
This is so fucking... Like,
Is it even...
it's turning, but it's not coming out because there's no threads inside of a headphone jack.
Maybe get like a strong magnet on top? Or
How am I going to get a magnet in there?
I mean, just to have
Let's see
your,
if I have...
your screwdriver be more...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I guess.
I'm being an idiot.
And just leave it on.
What the hell? No luck.
No luck? No?
I'm sorry.
But, yeah, okay.
Yo, what the fuck?
Donkey of the day.
This air is here. You have magnets?
I got magnets.
Thank you.
So, the way that is difficult, they have to replace that. Okay, okay. So, your choice is to erase headphones again, or...
Probably forego it at least for now.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I understand that it's like, it's a flat rate for any board repair, but, this is a simple but an annoying repair, because I have to not burn everything around it. Like,
Yeah.
every plastic piece of the very valuable.
Camille is better at customer service than he admits to. I feel... I have stolen magnets. All right. Let's try another one. Something that doesn't randomly crash. So here we have another MacBook Air. We're going to figure out this MacBook Air. Get my magnets back over here. Pink Senna is here. Everybody wave hello. Why hello, Pink Senna? I did not check if it was a power issue before unscrewing, because there could be other issues with it. I can't put the multimeter where I'd like to put it on this desk, so the keyboard keeps bumping into it. Also, my keyboard barely fits on this desk. Oh, it'd be nice to be able to get out of this shithole of a store. Maybe. Someday. Someday. Yeah, for all of you complaining about lag, the first thing, can somebody get rid of that mofo that is spamming it? Actually, yeah, please get rid of that guy. The second thing is, if it is lagging, you can also see the stream up here. See more videos on Vimeo. One sec, I gotta get rid of this spamming dude. One moment. Yep, he's gone. Lovely. Such a waste of time. Okay, so now we open the board, which is we unplug. $315 people watching. Okay, so we've plugged it in. It's taking 6 milliamps. Interesting. And it's not jumping up and down, which tells us something. Keep up the great work. Why, thank you, King Spray, for the 10 asses. The other thing that sucks about Vimeo is I can't figure out how to make it enable chat on every stream automatically. That's really annoying. You have to opt into having a chat on. Yes. Nope, no news until tomorrow. What do you think of Alan's video commenting on your rant? I think it was a good video. Yeah. He had a conversation with me. He suggested I have a conversation. That's the thing I like about him. All he said is just talk to the dude, you know, tell him what you told me, and move from there. So I spoke to the building's leasing agent. he made an argument in favor of me keeping my contractor walkthroughs for tomorrow. It's most likely going to end with me asking for considerably more on the months of free rent than I was before. And he's right when he says the construction cost is a big aspect of it. But it's really just that, again, it is one of those death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing. It's too many things at once. We'll see. We'll see. I had a conversation with him, You're going to have to tell me why this is worth it for me. Like, I don't need to move. I'd like to. I don't need to. But I'd like to. But I don't need to. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Do you guys hear that in the background? Do you guys hear that in the background? That's what happens when you put the wrong screw in the wrong hole at this company. Wrong screw, wrong hole. You get taken out back and beaten. Repeatedly. Okay. Now, because I'm now an influencer, I'm pretty sure this is just going to turn on automatically. Influencer. Oh my god, this works! What? Influencer! God damn. Influencer. No, seriously, this is like, really? Really? What? The power of 1 million subscribers. I'm telling you. The boards are starting to work for me again. The real estate brokers and agents are coming back to me after I say no. I bet the girl that said no to going to prom with me in 8th grade is going to come back. Say, hey, Lewis, left my husband. I realized I made the wrong choice all along. And I'm going to say, girl, I got 1 million subscribers now. Boards just spin their fan when I don't even do anything. What do you think I could... This is fucking hysterical. Alright, let's put notes in the ticket for this. I'd like to influence Nasera to start a proper liquid damage repair shop in Sweden. I've been trying to work on that for like 2 years now. I'm putting effort in. Every day I Google MacBook Repair Sweden. Expecting to see an old-time YouTube troll show up in the results. Disappointed every time. Pedro's here. How's it going, Pedro? Good to see you.
Oh, I had to hammer the shit out of that MacBook.
They thought it was a person.
Fucking thing. We should actually charge him more for that.
For what?
It took me like 40 minutes to get that.
What did you get out?
Some guy stripped his screws. Some guy sent it into our chat. Will it work? No. You know, like Samsung has their own website, right? Like level 2 repair, level 3 repair, how to take chips out and shit. Oh, I think that's the one. I think that's what I'm talking about. It's That's funny. No, because like I was able to access this at home, like
You could, but technically Apple would then recognize that, you know, as a custom screen and stuff.
Two boards just started working again automatically when I opened them up. Two boards just started working again automatically when I opened the bottom up. Being an influencer is awesome. Influencer. I think paying for construction for the new store is going to be easier than I thought. All right. Next machine. Here, we have a charging issue on an A1502. So what does that mean, charging issue? Let's read this. Vio Castellan will finally show up at his doorstep holding all the letters he wrote. You remember my crush. If Piccolo is defeated, does this cause all the balls to be lost? Ha ha. 27. I don't get it, unfortunately. Try this for a few seconds, then blinks green, then off. Replace the DC on already. Yay! Alright, let's open this up and see what's going on with it. You're going to fix this MacBook. This is not a Bluetooth earphone. This is a DPA 4065. R&E, those powers only get applied to one woman in my life. And it's not Ruby Lewis. On the face cam scene, why the sheep screwing? There's not a sheep screwing. The fuck is wrong with you? Oh, yeah, you're right. There is a sheep screwing. Well, that's an excellent... That's... Hi. You fucking... Hi, they're serious. There's two overlays. Oh, really? Oh, hi, you are so fired. You're right, the sheep are screwing. Okay, we're gonna turn on this one. I'm gonna reset the transform for it, so it's gonna... Yeah. Thank you for pointing out that my sheep were screwing. Eric is very interested in adjusting Oreo the Cat's diet. Oreo the Cat has... Let's say that some of Erica's theories as to why Oreo the Cat was wiping shit on things have been disproven. Oreo is a cat that is dedicated to ensuring that his asshole is dirty at all times. Like, you could wipe his ass before we go to sleep. He gets it dirty, doesn't clean it, wipes his ass on stuff while I'm sleeping. He's quite the cat. Quite the cat. Okay, so let's try and figure out why this guy's machine is not charging when it's supposed to be. So here, we take this power supply. And as you can see, it's drawing 12 milliamps, but not turning on. And now we're going to unplug everything, and it's probably going to work. I swear, if that happens, I just give up for the day. I end the stream. This is a fairly old board in here. This looks like an 820-3536, I believe. Yeah, this is 820-3536. You can tell from the one row of memory rather than two rows of memory. The number is written right over here, where it's nice and clearly visible on the machine. Written on the part of the board that's easy to see, just to make sure there's no difficulty in identifying the product. Nasera, I signed that petition. Very cool, Kyle. Okay, I'm going to wave my hand over this board and then use my magical powers as an influencer to make it work again. If that works, then I just genuinely give up. Today was just not meant for streaming if that happens. Is there dirt on this? I believe I had a green light before, now I don't. Five milliamps. Okay. Let's check some of the basics here. We're going to check and see if we have our PP3V42_G3 hot. That's the power rail that's required in order for the green light to turn on. It looks like 0.02 volts. Congrats to 1 million. Best wishes from Germany. Thank you very much. So here we have a list of power rails. See this? Power rails. Now let's go over why PP3V42_G3 hot is so important on a MacBook Pro. As you can see over here, this is where the charger plugs into the computer, right here. J is for a connector. That's J7000. And you have three things. You have the 18.5 volts, you have grounds, and you have adapter sense. Adapter sense is going to be what allows what speaks to the machine, because the machine is going to have to say, hi, I'm a MacBook, and the charger is going to say, hi, I'm an official OEM Apple charger, and once that occurs, you get a green light. The thing is, you have 18 volts right next to a data line. Thank you, Kita. This is St. Matthew's Passion by Bach, so I enjoy it. I'm glad you like it as well. So now you don't want your 18 volts to accidentally switch over into where this 3-volt data line is when you got this little magnetic connector that you know some drunk person's gonna do this to. So what you have over here is a little chip that's gonna guard from that happening. U7000 is gonna sit in between the charger and the machine so that if 3-volt data line goes through, it'll let it. If 18 volts DC voltage goes through, this is gonna say no. Now this chip is powered from this chip over here. See, the VCC pin is going here, and this chip's VCC is PP3V42_G3 hot. So you need PP3V42_G3 hot to power this chip, which needs to power this chip, which is going to allow the charger to speak to the SMC. You also need that to power the SMC in and of itself, which is going to be required for the rest of this whole setup to work. So if you take a look over here, it's this one wire, which is the line going from the charger, goes to the SMC up here, and the SMC is powered by nothing other than PP3V42_G3 hot. So if you don't have PP3V42_G3 hot, you're kind of screwed. So let's take a look up here at the PP3V42_G3 hot creation chip, which I think is right here. Yep, that looks like it. PP3V42_G3 hot power supply. There's a couple of things that we're going to look for here. The first thing we want to know is, do we have voltage present on the input? Because with any power supply, you need to have voltage on the input in order to have anything on the output. So we're going to check right over here where it says VIN. And here's the beauty of Paul Daniels' software, by the way. If you're watching Paul and you're doing this kind of MacBook repair stuff as a living, if you're not doing it as a living, he has a free version open board for you. But if you're doing it as a living, this is beautiful. Watch this. Ready? 1, 2, I click. It just automatically shows me every area in the board that it shows up. Is that not amazing, folks? That is some beautiful, beautiful software from Paul Daniels. So we're going to check this over here and see what we get on the multimeter. 18 volts is going into the chip. Next thing we got to do is see if it's being told to turn on. Because again, even if you have 120 volts going to your switch and your light, if your light bulb is not being told to turn on, if you have 120 volts going to your switch, but the switch is closed, the light's not going to turn on. So we need to have voltage on the shouldn't pin. And you can look up the datasheet for this chip if you're confused. This is not something that I immediately knew. I did look up the datasheet, I googled it, and that's how I figured out that you need to have, I think, more than 2 volts here in order for it to not shut the chip down. So let's see what we have over here. PP342 shouldn't. No breaking into the bathroom. There. Okay, so we look at pin 8. We can also check it on this resistor right over here. So let's see what's there. Pretty, isn't it? It's there. It's being told to turn on. All right. Now I'm going to turn the power supply off. I'm going to unplug power, and I'm going to see if there's a short to ground on output. Because a short to ground on output would explain what's going on here. 3 kilo ohms. Okay, that was not expected. That's not a short to ground. All right, so let's plug our power back in. Plug power back in. Put this back in a voltage mode. .4. And now it's 3.42 volts out of nowhere. Oh my god. Okay, this influencer thing is really going a little too far. This started as a joke, but this is... What the like, I held the probe there. Seriously? I didn't replace a chip. I didn't run a jumper wire. I'm holding the probe. Okay, let's see if PP Bus is there now. What the fuck? What the How the fuck is this? The power rail literally just, it showed up again. I'm going to open up a psychic shop. I think that's how I'm going to pay for the new store. This is the 3rd board in a row that just fixes itself by me touching it. This is insanity. Is it an SMC issue? What? Really? Why is it taking so long for PP342 to show up, though? That's the thing. Damn, I'm getting used to this influencer thing. Now it's coming on immediately. Alright, now let's see if the SMC is turning on. So, if we check PP-Bus G3 HUD, PP-Bus G3 HUD is a power rail that's going to be created by a chip that communicates with the SMC, which is also the chip that controls the green light. And it's not 12.56, which it is when it's working, it's 12.29, which tells me the SMC is not working. So now I want to see if the SMC is turning on. We tell that by checking a signal called SMC reset. And that's there. So the SMC is being told to turn on, which means most likely at this point the SMC is bad or the DC inboard is bad. So how do we figure that out if the SMC is not turning on or the DC inboard is bad? Well, great question. So I want to see what it is delivering. So let's go over that one-wire circuit that I showed you again. So if you look over here, what you'll see is, oh my, it's fucking turning on. Fucking fan spin. Before I can, fuck, what the fuck? Fucking fan spin. Fan spin. I just said we're gonna check and see if the DC inboard is working. I'm gonna show you how. And how. I quit. We're done. I don't need to open a new space. I don't need a large space for repair. I quit. I'm gonna go on a park bench. I'm gonna put up a little sign. I'm going to put up a little sign and a park bench. I'm going to have people just show up. I'm going to hover my hand over it, touch it with a multimeter probe. Bam, you're done. I don't need storage. I don't need desks. I don't need benches. All right. But seriously, so let's just go over how I would have been able to tell this. So, sometimes, if the DC inboard is bad, the charge port, this thing over here, see this? If this thing goes bad, what it'll do, and the way you can tell if your charge port is bad versus something else most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, is that adapter sense over here is going to be 18 volts or 16 volts rather than 3. So adapter sense is supposed to be 2 to 3 volts, right? It's supposed to be 2 to 3 volts. That's a data line. Now, if the DC inboard is messed up, it's going to leak over that 18 volts of DC power. Whoops. It's going to leak over the 18 volts of DC power to power the machine into the adapter sense line, which is then going to cause this chip to say, no way in hell you're not burning my SMC with 18 volts in the data line, and then it's good. And the machine just decided to stop. It just killed itself right there. Well then. Did you randomly turn on? Is that what it is? Is that what it is, little computer? You randomly turn on? Yeah. This looks like I want a machine for Paul. Well, that's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something. With that, I will be settling into my role as a business manager. Clearly, I'm useless as a tech at this point, and I'll see you in the next stream.